Have you ever landed in some amazing new city, totally excited, only to feel like an absolute zombie for the first 3 days? You know, that soul-crushing fatigue, the brain fog? That's jet lag. But what if you could just skip it entirely? Okay, let's dive into this because some new research out of Japan has uncovered a compound that might just make jet lag a thing of the past.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll get into why jet lag hits us so hard. Then, we'll meet the new drug that's causing all this excitement. After that, we'll unpack the fascinating science of how it actually resets your internal clock. And finally, we'll look at the proof and what this could mean for all of us.
All right, so first things first, let's really get into the problem itself. We've all felt it, but what is actually going on inside our bodies that makes us feel so completely out of sync?
And have you ever noticed this? Flying from, say, New York to London feels way worse than flying from London back to New York. And no, you're not imagining things. There's a real biological reason why trying to force your body to adapt to an earlier time zone is just so much harder.
It all boils down to this. Our bodies find it much more difficult to advance the clock, to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier, than to delay it. It's just naturally easier for us to stay up a little later and sleep in. So when you travel east, you're fighting against your body's natural tendency. And that's what makes that journey such a struggle.
Now, we've all tried the usual tricks, right? We try to get light exposure at just the right times, or maybe we take melatonin to help us sleep. But here's the catch. With these methods, timing is absolutely everything. If you get it wrong, you can actually make your jet lag even worse. They're just not super reliable.
And this is where the breakthrough really comes in. Scientists were looking for a way to reliably push that clock forward, without all the guesswork. And, well, it looks like they found one.
So, meet Mike 628. This is the name of the newly discovered compound that could honestly change everything for travelers, for shift workers, really for anyone struggling with a body clock that's out of whack.
And here's the absolute game changer. It works no matter when you take it. See, unlike melatonin or light therapy, Mike 628 appears to consistently advance your body's clock, which completely removes that critical and frankly confusing element of timing.
Okay, so how on earth does this actually work? We're going to get into a little bit of biology here, but stick with me because the way it works is actually pretty brilliant.
Think of it like this. Your body has a natural brake on your internal clock. This brake is a protein called CR1, and its main job is to hold back the genes that want to move your clock forward. Well, MYC628 is designed to go right in and mess with that brake.
So here's the play-by-play. First, Mike 628 latches onto that CR1 brake protein. When they're together, they form a totally new little molecule. This new molecule then goes and switches on a core clock gene called PER1. And as soon as that gene gets activated, boom, the body's clock starts to shift forward. It's like taking the foot off the brake and gently tapping the accelerator.
And what's so crucial here is that this isn't just happening in one little spot. It syncs up the master clock in your brain with all the other clocks ticking away in your organs, like your lungs and your liver. It basically gets your entire body on the same page, on the same new time zone.
So, the theory sounds amazing, right? But does it actually work in practice? Let's take a look at what happened in the study.
So to test this, the researchers basically gave a bunch of mice jet lag. They shifted the light-dark cycle by 6 hours, which for a mouse is kind of like flying from LA to New York. Then they gave one group of these mice a single oral dose of Mike 628.
And the results, well, they were pretty striking. As you can see right here, the control group, the mice that didn't get the drug, took a full 7 days to adjust, a whole week. But the mice that got just one dose of Mix 628, they were fully back on track in just 4 days.
That's nearly 50% faster. Let that sink in. A single dose cut the recovery time almost in half. That is a massive improvement.
And this has implications that go way beyond just making your vacation better. Think about shift workers, nurses, pilots, people in factories who are constantly battling a misaligned body clock. This could also help people with other sleep disorders that are caused by our circadian rhythm just being out of whack. There's a reason they're calling this a potential smart drug.
So what this all really points to is a remarkable breakthrough, a way to reliably and, it seems, safely advance our internal clock whenever we need to. Now, it still needs to be tested in humans, of course, but this discovery raises a really exciting question. Are we on the verge of a future where jet lag is just a story we tell our kids about the old days of travel? It sure seems like we're closer than we have ever been before.